A man with a history of charges related to luring children appeared in Clark County Court today. That as the family of one potential victim advocates for him to remain in jail. Fox 12's Julia Lopez is at the courthouse tonight. Julia, what can you tell us?
Well, Anna, the mood in court today was charged. The mother I've talked to is, of course, grateful her daughter is safe, but says this suspect should never have had the opportunity to approach her child in the first place. She didn't feel comfortable showing her face, but wanted to share her story.
So I had a lot of anger in my heart. I don't feel sorry for him.
Dakota Palmore Rice came to Clark County Court Monday to fight the release of the man accused of trying to lure her 5-year-old daughter from their Vancouver home.
It made me feel disgusted. He's a monster. He's gross.
Dakota's security camera caught the moment last Wednesday when her daughter ran to safety after a stranger in a white Nissan Versa allegedly offered her a toy if she followed him to the street corner. You can see the Nissan drive away. Police arrested 22-year-old Alexander Rietbrock for felony communicating with a minor for immoral purposes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Dakota feels frustrated leaving the courtroom. Rietbrock has faced similar accusations before. In March, he was arrested after being accused of offering 15- and 16-year-old girls money for sex. He was eventually released on bail. According to court documents, when arrested, Rietbrock told deputies he, quote, has a problem, and was convicted for extortion of a minor when he was just 16.
Because I know what he is capable of doing, he is gross to me, but he does look like an average, young man. So he might hide in plain sight like he did on my block.
Monday, a judge assigned Rietbrock a $1 million bail, but he'll be held in jail until his next hearing for violating court orders from March.
I wish it would have been higher. We're talking about a child, a very, very young child. We shouldn't be having to worry about stuff like this, even though we know we have to, but dang.
According to the arresting officer, Rietbrock denied having any contact with minors when he was taken into custody last week. He's back in court July 14th. Dakota and her family will be at every hearing, they say, to advocate for the safety of the Vancouver community. Reporting live from Vancouver, Julia Lopez, Fox 12 Oregon.